April is International Cesarean Awareness Month, and I feel like as somebody who actually had a cesarean birth, I am well qualified to celebrate. Now, what I actually want to talk about is the emotional and mental strain that some women experience when it comes to a cesarean birth. Now, I want to just add some context. I had never been in a hospital. I had never had surgery outside of wisdom teeth extractions. I was horrified of birth in general. I don't think outside of getting my wisdom teeth pulled, I've ever had an IV, any of those things. So I actually was horrified of birth. And if you want me to be completely transparent, there was a phase of my life where I didn't actually want to physically have children. And if you know me for real, then you've probably heard me have this conversation where, because I was adopted, I actually just wanted to adopt a child, and it had a lot to do with I didn't want to be pregnant, and because I was horrified of birth. Well, we face all those fears. I get pregnant, and now it's time to birth this child. I also want to mention that we walked into this birth. My pregnancy was completely healthy. There were no signs of a necessity of a C-section. Madison was breech at one point, but then she ended up turning around the appropriate way. She was breech maybe 7.5, 8 months, but then she was head down and ready and just waiting on the opportune time to come out. Well, I actually went through labor, pushed for 3 hours. The hospital's max of pushing was 4 hours. I pushed the limit, so I pushed for the 4 hours, and unfortunately, she didn't progress all the way through. I'm gonna put y'all in my business. Ultimately, at the close of it all, we found out that my pelvic area is narrow, and so the canal was too small for her to get through. We could see her head, but they couldn't see anything else. She wasn't coming through. We were extending past the time. I believe they made the assumption that she may have used a bathroom in there, and you got to get them out to make sure that they don't ingest it. So, okay. The crazy thing is, when we were about 2 hours into me pushing, the doctor said, "You're making so much great progress. I have to go do a C-section. I'll be back, but you'll probably have a baby before I get back." So she introduced me to another doctor. And so I'm in there pushing, thinking that I'm doing the right thing. Now, I want to mention that in between pushing, I literally was falling asleep. I had been in labor, air quotes, for about, I don't know, most of the day. My water broke at 2 a.m. that morning. We went to the hospital. So I had been in the hospital. At this point, I've had Pitocin. The contractions are pretty consistent. I also have epidural. So I cannot feel anything. I'm making the assumption that I'm pushing hard enough. But physically, my body is exhausted. All right, we fast forward. And she comes back and she's like, "You're going to have a C-section." I'm already emotional because I asked if I could push for the extra hours. She said yes. Once we're getting to the point that I realized that this isn't happening with me pushing, I did not want to get cut. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Yes, it's very vain. I felt like I'm going to get a C-section. I'm never going to recover from this. I'm going to hate my body. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to be uncomfortable. This is going to limit me from snapping back like I think I will. I was already slightly concerned about just the aftermath of pregnancy in general. Not because I feel like I'm bad looking, but because I guess I've seen the gamut of everything with women. I didn't really feel like I was going to be that ultimate snapback girly. Thank God I was. I'm one of God's favorites, I guess. However, in that moment, I was thinking about myself. I wanted the baby to get here and I wanted her to be fine, but I also wanted to be fine too. To me, the C-section surgery is the most impersonal birth that you could ever have because you're just laying there. You can't see anything. You're not really a part of this process. You can't really feel anything. The father gets to see the baby almost immediately, gets to lay their eyes on them. You can hear, and you just have to go based off of what people say. And then they bring you the baby, but my arms are stretched out on the table, so I can't hold my baby. They kind of just put her on my face. They tell me that she's fine, and so they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to close you up, blah blah blah." Dad and baby leave the room, so now I'm just laying here. I don't know any of these people. I'm asking this man what are they doing? How long is this going to take? Because now I want to get with my baby and I can't. In addition to that, you get into this room. So you get your baby, you skin to skin. Okay, great. I breastfed, so she did latch on. It was amazing. Glad, it was almost like they thought I was a pro. That part was fine. But it was the aftermath and the recovery that I think mentally I didn't realize how much it was going to impact me emotionally. Honestly, like just having to lay in the bed for as long as I had to after the C-section was frustrating. I actually pushed the limit with the nurse and I was like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And she was like, are you sure you're ready? I think I had like an hour and a half left. And she was like, if you feel like you can do it, let's try it. Tried it, I could walk, and so that was cool. But then using the bathroom, like sitting down or even adjusting myself in the bed, like once the pain actually came back, y'all gonna have to give me some of that oxy because I can't take this. And then you get home and you realize that normal things are so uncomfortable. We're not even going to talk about the ride home and how every bump, every turn, every move is so uncomfortable. In a certain way, you also feel helpless because your baby's crying, but it hurts you more to get up and get the baby. So you need to tell your sleeping husband to come get the baby. You get home, your room is upstairs, so you gotta walk up and down the stairs every day, which wasn't really the hardest part. Like, it was uncomfortable, but using the bathroom, like just to sit down to use the bathroom was so painful. I couldn't even lay down because getting in the bed and actually laying down made me feel like I was going to burst wide open, and I couldn't turn left and right. And having to get up for the baby and nurse the baby and sit comfortably for the baby, I literally sat sleeping for 6 weeks. I don't think I tried to lay back down until after my 6-week clearance appointment. Outside of that, I feel like there was still a certain level of sensitivity. They don't tell you about the constipation that comes after that. And I guess I started to feel like even though I got cleared to work out, it's almost like your stomach muscles don't exist anymore. You feel like so limited in certain movements. Even how baby girl used to like lay or put her feet or her toes or whatever she was doing, it was still like so uncomfortable. And I just want to share my story because I feel like some people look at C-section like, oh, I was glad I got a C-section. Let's get it over with. Literally, that is not what I wanted. And I guess if that's not what you wanted, or if you walked into it not expecting that, I think it just changes your experience. And I had to get over that because my birth experience just was not the best in general. And so adding that layer to it, I think just made it even more difficult. Like simple things like washing your legs in the shower or just washing in the shower by yourself. Like I couldn't even lotion my legs. It was so much I couldn't do. You can't lift anything over the weight of the baby, so you're literally just so limited in what you can do. You can't even bend down. It was just very humbling, to say the least. And now I feel like a superhero because I snapped back and I literally handled that recovery like a champ.